want to welcome each of you back to the Dang Right, a Melissa football podcast with Coach Nally. I am Coach Nally. Mr. Kramen and his dynamic duo of Evans and Shipp are the ones that make this podcast go, and without them, there would be no Dang Right. I am so humbled and honored to be doing this podcast with them. Thank you, Mr. Kramen, Evans, Shipp, and my boy Max, who's not in the studio today. Our guest today needs no introduction. He's the master of the one-liners, has a couple of state baseball championship rings to his name, and a pitching legend. Today's guest is Coach Josh Bobbitt. Coach Bobbitt, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Coach Nally. I'm very excited to be here.
Dang right. Coach Bobbitt, first question I ask everybody, okay? Give us the voyage from the beginning to now of Coach Josh Bobbitt.
Coach, that's kind of a big word for me, but I'm going to assume just kind of give you a brief background of Coach Bobbitt. So Here we go. Coach Bobbitt I grew up in Wichita Falls, Texas.
First off, I like how you started in third person. Yeah. I like that, man. That's good.
So we can't edit that, right, guys? Okay. Yes, I grew up in Wichita Falls, Texas. I grew up in the country. I'm a country boy from out there. Went to a small 2A school, the Holiday Eagles. Growing up, kind of like I said, country guy. My dad had chickens, goats, even a miniature donkey at one point. So that's kind of the deal. I grew up there, went to junior high and high school there, played all three sports, football, baseball, and basketball. Found out that wasn't going to be very good in football, but quit that after the sophomore year. However, was able enough to go on and play college baseball at North Central Texas College in Gainesville, and then from there went on to Tulane. And after that, I was able to play a couple of seasons in the minor leagues with the Rangers, and then found out I wasn't going to be making it big, so decided to get back out, finish up my degree, and then here I am now coaching. This is my 23rd year.
Dang right, man. That's awesome. Well, let's go back to your sophomore year, Coach. I mean, Coach, you're a big dude, okay? All right, so let's talk about sophomore year of high school football, okay? So why didn't you finish out you couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time or what?
Well, that is pretty close. I'd like to go back a few years before that with you on where, and I still remember to this day, it was my seventh grade year, the first day of football. Growing up, just to give you a little background, we had won a couple of Pop Warner, Top of Texas city championships.
Dang right.
And again, like you said, walking and chewing gum, that was Coach Bobbitt was never the best athlete, but I did have a good left arm, so I could throw. So in those Pee Wee years, I was the quarterback.
Dang
so fast forward to the first day of seventh grade. This was the beginning of the end. The coach, Coach Ledford, said, "Okay, who played quarterback?" And I raised my hand up, and he looks around. He picks the other kid, David Twilliger, which was the best choice. He was a better athlete. And he told me, and I quote you when I say this, "Bobbitt, you were slower than a dead mule. Get your tail up there to left guard." So that was the beginning of the end for Coach Bobbitt's football career. Yeah. But I did hang on for freshman and sophomore year, and then didn't like banging heads with the pigs and the O-line stuff. So, mind you, I was smaller back then. I was only about $160, so not necessarily a lineman material. However, though, I did finish up, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go play baseball down here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in the fall, which kind of helped me out to be seen by some college coaches.
Dang right. What's crazy is I remember, there's certain things in life that you can remember and remember where you're at and things like that. I can remember the first day of seventh grade football, and I don't know why, but they wanted to get us in full pads, and they wanted us to run 40s, and they were trying to time everybody's 40s in full pads. And I remember, Coach, I'm 5'8.5" right now, I'm 225 pounds. When I was in seventh grade, I was 5'8" and about 140 pounds. So I was a large human being in the 7th grade. And so they gave me like double X everything. So I'm running and my pants are falling down and I can barely keep everything up. But I just remember like my 40 time in the 7th grade was like 9.8, you know. But back in those days, coach, which is funny is, you know, I wanted to play every other position besides quarterback. But when we were kids, all you had to do is turn around and hand it off to somebody, you know. So it's like, hey, we're going to put the worst athlete at quarterback in Frankston, Texas back in the day. So yeah, I ran a 9.8 and I looked like I couldn't run out of sight. So, hey man, that's the quarterback. All right. Coach, you were a pitcher back in the day at Tulane, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so let's talk about Tulane real quick. Okay. What actually is a green wave?
I'll be real honest with you. I didn't know that. The whole time I was there, I just knew I was playing for the stinking Green Wave and loved it. But the Green Wave actually was back in 1920. I guess the football team became called the Green Wave because it was named after a Rolling Green Wave song back in the early 1920s. So,
dang right, man.
so
That's awesome.
It's kind of stuck ever since then.
Well, let me ask you, where is Tulane at?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay, so it's New Orleans. So once again, coach, like, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about my geography, like, you know, like tsunamis, you know, that you know, that kind of, oh man, that's fear, you know, but a wave, you know, I guess my question is do you believe a wave is an intimidating mascot that should be feared?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. Absolutely not. The Green Wave definitely is. It's not a fearable mascot. And back when I was there, back in 97 and 98, our mascot was literally dressed up in a green Gumby suit. So it was walking around. We're playing guys like LSU, things like that. And then we got a Gumby walking around. So needless to say, the mascot was not feared at all.
I just, man, that's awesome. Now, I mean, I went to UNT, so a lot of people's made fun of my mascot, you know, Mean Green. And I say, well, you know, we're the Eagles, but Mean Green, like that's kind of intimidating, you know. But when I think of a wave, like I think of, you know, the Beach Boys, man, and you know, having fun and the sun and you know stuff like that. I don't think of anything like I'm like, dude. The Mean Green Wave, man, that's scary, bro. So I'm just curious, like, and then you said it came from a song, right?
Yes, a song back in the 1920s, and I haven't even listened to the song, to be honest with you. But,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it. All right, Coach. So you talked about playing in the minor leagues, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Was it awesome like the movie Bull Durham, or was it lame like Major League 3?
I'm going to give you a story. You're actually going to go with both. The awesome part was you're getting paid to play baseball, you know, and getting paid for a living to be able to play the sport you love. The lame part is I go from a Tulane, which we had a pretty good following. You know, we were ranked in the top 20 the 2 years I was at Tulane in 97 and 98. And then fast forward to June of that 98, I get on an airplane about one in the morning to fly out to Port Charlotte, which is where the Rangers were based in Florida back then. And we show up for rookie ball, and needless to say, rookie ball was it was good, but we practiced in the mornings and played games in the afternoon. And I'll tell you how many fans we had. It just depended on what player's family was in town that week. So there was absolutely no fans at all. And you know, being a pitcher and a pitcher only, if I wasn't pitching, I was shagging foul balls. So I mean, needless to say, it was lame, but it was also cool to be saying you're a professional baseball player. But on a side note of this is back in 1998 when I was playing for the Rangers in rookie ball, I would call back home because we didn't have cell phones at the time or whatever, and you know, mom and dad let them know how I did and everything. And then once Dad found out how I did or whatever, he'd get off the phone, and here I am professional ball player, 21 years old, having to ask mom to put some money in my checking account because we were getting paid $350 after taxes every 2 weeks. So,
oh, wow.
yeah, you talk about nickels on the dollar. But yes, I was a professional ball player, but definitely it was an experience I wouldn't trade for nothing. But that's just a little background on it.
You know what's crazy, Coach, is I did some time at the Dairy Queen franchise as a cook, and I think that was about my paycheck every 2 weeks. It was about $350. I think I put in about around 18, 19 hours a week and got paid that. Dang, $350?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I mean,
sir.
did people have jobs and stuff besides playing baseball?
No, but that's where back in the day, that's what the people use their signing bonus and stuff. And I'll go ahead and go in here and tell you my signing bonus. It was a little more than a Big Mac and large fry. I signed for a whole $1,000. So like I said, and that was before taxes was taken out of it. But
golly.
I got a chance to play pro ball, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But needless to say, thank goodness here recently, like 2 years ago, they did finally upgrade, and the minor leaguers are actually getting housing now and being able to make more money. So that's a big step forward.
$350. I don't know if my kids would accept that. Like if I was just going to give it to them, like here's $350, guys. No, you keep that.
You can't make it up. Can't make it up. That's for sure.
That's insane. All right, Coach. What was the kill pitch back in the day? It's 0-2. Bobbitt's on the bump. They know it's coming. Here comes the kill pitch. What is it, Coach?
The kill pitch was my changeup. And like I say, I didn't throw real hard. I wasn't a flamethrower, so I had to be able to spot up, locate it, and had to be able to throw my off speed. And I developed my changeup freshman year at North Central Texas College because, like I say, I wasn't a flamethrower and I wasn't going to blow it by anybody. So that's whenever I learned, and I'd always had a changeup, but I kind of started working on it and started trying to perfect it, and that in a nutshell is what gave me the ability to go play D1 baseball and also a shot in the minor leagues.
So let's talk about this changeup real quick. I mean, were you circle change? What'd you do?
Yes, sir. Circle change. Like I said, I didn't really focus on the circle because, like I say, hands are smaller than some, so I didn't really have to be able to put the ball back in. But mainly just choking the ball back and being able to change the speed, and the best thing about the changeup, which it's a lost art these days, is not a lot of people teach it, because everybody's so in love with the velocity and stuff like that and the power ball. But, it made the fastball that much harder because it comes out looking just like a fastball, and that was a pitch of deception that really helped me out.
What's crazy is, I was a baseball coach for a long time, and, I had some unbelievable pitchers in my day, but the best pitcher I ever had, Coach, threw about 75 miles an hour. He could throw it in a tin cup. I mean, he was Picasso, man. He was painting the corners. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I'm going to give him a shout out. His name's Daniel Hilton. I'm 43, Coach. He's probably 38, 37, 38. But we went, and Joaquin hadn't lost a game all year, Coach. All year. We see him in the playoffs. We're in a 3-game series. And Daniel Hilton, he's our ace. And we decided, hey, we're going to pitch our ace the first game. And he goes in, Coach. I think they might get 2 hits. But once again, it's all about location in baseball. And he could locate any pitch, a fastball, a changeup, a curveball. He could put it where he wanted to. And that's the thing, Coach, that I think is, like you said, you talk about people worried about the velocity piece of it. And cool, you can throw it like, Coach, I could throw hard. My brother could throw it hard, but Coach, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a piece that people think don't really think about. I mean, we used to say if you can't blow it by him, slow it by him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
When Coach Phelps talks about him being a college baseball player, first off, you have to look it up. Okay, you have to Google that. You're like, there's no way that this specimen in front of me played college athletics. So you have to look it up. But really, I mean, if you can locate, you can be a pitcher. Well, Coach, let me ask you this: how long did it take you to perfect that changeup?
I would say it took me the better half of the fall, and I'd say probably midway through, all the way through the spring season. So I'd say close to probably 8 or 9 months, you know what I mean, is kind of trial and error, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you kind of go through and, throwing a changeup is kind of scary because if it doesn't, if the hitter knows it's coming, it's basically a BP fastball coming in there, so you got to try to keep your arm speed and the grip and stuff going. But yeah, that was the best pitch. And I will tell you, and I've told some people this story. When I was at Tulane, my junior year, of course, we're playing at home against LSU, and they were ranked #1 both years, 97 and 98, but they had a kid named Brandon Larson who was a first-round draft pick to the Cincinnati Reds, and I get called out of the bullpen, and lo and behold, Mr. Larson is sitting there at the plate whenever I come in, and
just waiting on you.
He was ready.
Let's see that changeup, baby.
I threw 3 straight changeups, and I've never been so scared in my life because he swung so hard the bat was hitting his back. And I was just scared, even the last one I threw. Thank God he missed all 3 of them, but I just knew that if he ever connected on one of those things, that it was definitely not going to land for a while. But yeah, so the changeup was definitely my pitch, like I said. So.
Isn't that crazy? You're on the bump, and you're like, golly, he called a changeup. Oh my gosh, this is going to end up 400. And you throw it, swing and a miss. Oh, okay. All right, here we go, Coach. What do we got for me now? He's calling another changeup. What are we doing? Swing and a miss. 3rd time. Oh my gosh, guys. This is dumb. Swing and a miss. And then you're beating your chest like, yeah, I'm the man. Struck him out.
Yes, yeah, that was it. And I did feel like the man, but it didn't last very long because I didn't get another out the rest of that inning. So they had to come and pull me out. So, but I wasn't going to say that part of it. But I did strike out a first-rounder on 3 pitches.
Dang right. All right, Coach. Were you one of those lame pitchers that couldn't hit, or did you hit nukes?
I did not hit nukes. Now, however, in high school, of course, it was a smaller school, and I know Casey Hamilton's probably going to hear this at some point. But I was a good hitter at the 2A level. I hit over 400 in high school, but when it came to college, I was definitely one of the lame ones because I didn't even get a chance to pick up a bat unless it was to hit fungo. So that was pretty much it. But no, in high school I was decent.
Man. They saw you swinging and were like, no, he's PO. No, he is a PO.
That's exactly right.
That's the one thing, when I became a head baseball coach, a mentor of mine said, hey, man, you've got to be able to hit. Your team has got to be able to hit. So, I mean, like for me personally, that is the most fun piece for me about baseball. Now, I pitched too, and I enjoyed I enjoyed that that battle between the pitcher and the hitter.
Absolutely.
So I mean that was something that was always really cool and like the closest thing that you could kind of get to almost like Coach. I loved boxing growing up, so it was kind of the closest thing I could get to kind of boxing is that little slug out piece of it. I didn't hit nukes either, Coach. Now I let off, but I didn't hit nukes. All right, Coach. As you know, there is a coaching shortage in the entire nation. Coaches are getting out of the profession quicker than coaches are getting in. I mean, there are so many reasons why this is, but Coach, why do you coach and why do you stay in it so long?
This is going to sound kind of cliche-ish, but, a man said a long time ago, I might think of my grandpa, maybe my dad, but if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And right out of college, I had a business management degree, and I had this big, of course my dad was in management stuff, so I had this big idea that I was going to go make the big bucks. And needless to say, the business management degree in Wichita Falls, Texas, did not have a whole lot of opportunities. The job I found was at Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Yeah,
and
dang right.
I was selling supplemental insurance and being judged on that, putting an old lady in a Dodge Neon when she just turned in a Cadillac at the body shop, and I'm supposed to get her to pay extra for insurance. So, like I said, I wasn't a salesman, so I didn't get the 3 no's because when I was at the store or whatever, if I ever asked for more than once with my dad, then I got the belt. So needless to say, but I love what I do and think the coaching profession, like I said, being able to affect and help kids out on a daily basis, it's extremely, not only on the field but also in the classroom, being able to make a difference in kids' lives. I've really liked it. So and as far as staying in it so long, Mama Bobbitt didn't raise a quitter. But like I said before, it's kind of my passion, and I love kids, and like I say, I love coaching. So
It's wild, and I've said this before, but like when I got in this profession. I mean, Coach, man, I'm close to a decade. It was, man, I loved winning, and I hate to say that. It wasn't I love competing. I hated losing so much, but it was so much about winning. It was so much about me, and then, probably, I don't know, Coach, 10, 15 years ago, it was a flip. Now, some people say, it's when you have kids and things like that, it flips. But just the responsibility that we have for, to help people, to young people, and to use the platform that we use to help them be better people. And, obviously we're going to get judged on winning and losing. That's just part of the job and what we do. But, and we'll never be judged on, are we building character? Are we building people or young people into really good people and things like that? And once again, that's just part of our job. But it's crazy that you say that just because of the fact of all the real good coaches that I've ever talked to, that's the answer. The answer is not to win a state championship, to win multiple state championships, to beat records or whatever the case may be. It is to be an extension of that student's family and to help that student be a better person. So for me personally, like I said, man, I really appreciate that just because of the fact of, I know my son, my oldest boy, has got to be around you this last year. And he has showed me and shared with me so many things about how you're passionate about the sport, but you're also passionate about kiddos. All right, Coach, let me ask you this. What is the best thing about sports and coaching?
Kind of to piggyback off what we just talked about, Coach, I think the best thing about sports is the spirit of the competition, and the thing about that is, the kids getting to go out and compete, and the other thing is, being the coaching side of it, you get to help. Unfortunately, we're out of eligibility, so we can't play no more. But,
Right.
We get to go out there and teach those kids things that we did and possibly used as players, that made us successful to try to help them, you know what I mean, and different tactics we learned along the way to help them learn how to go out and compete to the hardest level that they can. The other thing I think about sports is also it teaches them how to deal with adversity. You know what I mean? We talk about wins and loses. I mean, in the game of baseball, it's a game of failure. You're gonna mess up more than you succeed. But I mean, even football and everything else. When you go out and compete to the highest level and you give your best, unfortunately, it doesn't always come out where you're on top. So you do have to deal with some adversity. And I think that transpires, and transforms later on to life. When kids are, out in the real world, because things aren't always, a bed of roses and things like that. So I think sports be able to help the kids prepare for life. You know what I'm saying, and try to be able to learn that through competition.
Oh, I agree totally. I mean, to me, the best thing about sports is, and I'm going to steal this from you, but is overcoming adversity. But really, it's just learning how to fail. I mean, Coach, I know this sounds nuts when you look at me, you don't think this way, but like I really enjoyed the game of basketball, and I went to a basketball high school, and I always thought I was probably better than I really was, but learning that hey, you didn't work hard enough. You didn't do this, that, and other, or, hey, I had a really good week of practice, but, I went in the game and I struggled, my first 2-3 minutes in the game and I got pulled out. Like just learning those characteristics, because that's life. Life is all about learning from your failures.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a big thing that you said. And then, the best thing about coaching, I don't care what anyone says, people can list, Coach, all the negatives. All the negatives, the time away from family, people can say, we don't get paid enough, and, whatever, bad parent issues and things like that, Coach. But the best thing about coaching is kids. That's the best thing about coaching. Mm-hmm. It's the relationships that you make. It's those positive impacts that you have. And not just that, it's just the moments that you get to talk to kids that it doesn't relate to sports. It relates to life, and that's my most favorite part about being a coach is getting to sit down with a kiddo and talk to them about life. But then the big thing too is being around kids, because kids, it doesn't matter where their social status is right now in high school. They all bring some sort of element that is so fun, and you just want to be around it. So to me, that's the funnest part, and the best thing about coaching is obviously the kiddos. But all right, Coach. To me, this is a big deal. Okay, what number you wear? I mean, Coach Majors wore number 41. And he played receiver. Okay, so like in the football world, Coach, if you're breaking down an opponent and you see a receiver wearing 41, we're not really worried about that receiver. Okay, so in baseball, what number did you wear?
I wore number 7 in high school, and like I said, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Coach, that's good. What you wear number 7 for Mickey Mantle?" Nothing. Unfortunately, no. The way I got number 7 is I was a sophomore, and it was the last jersey left. Coach said, "Who doesn't have a jersey?" And I'm over here almost in tears because I don't have a jersey. So that pretty much told me I was going to be on JV. Raised my hand up, and lo and behold, he throws me number 7. So, but a funny side to that is that year got number 7, the last jersey handed out. Sophomore year, I ended up being the starting pitcher, and we led us to the state tournament. So it was kind of overcoming adversity. But
Heck yeah.
no, my number 7 wasn't for Mickey Mantle.
What was it in college?
I was number 35.
35.
35, and there'd been some left-handed pitchers with that number, but like I say, coming in, I really didn't get a chance to pick it out or whatever. But 35 was fine with me and stuff. But I didn't. I don't have a rhyme or reason on that. Just a funny story about the number 7 being the last one picked. That's kind of.
It's funny though, Coach. When we were kids, like at least my experience, you didn't get to pick a number. It was here you go. And you would go home, and your parents would be like, "So what number did you get?" 40. And you're like, "I'm 40. That number, I'm 40." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, "Why'd you pick 40?" I didn't pick it. They just gave it to me.
Exactly.
And not just that, Coach, but when I was a kid, the school I played at, no one picked any odd numbers. So it was only even numbers. Now, Coach, I went to a small school too. Okay.
Yes,
but it was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, blah, 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 blah. So you had to pick an even number. Now I say that, I was a huge Indianapolis Colt fan growing up. Huge Ranger fan, Coach. Huge Ranger fan. But you remember back when we were kids, Coach, the Rangers screwed you each year. They was to the All-Star break. You were like, "It's our year." And then after the All-Star break, they were terrible. Okay, so I was a huge Indianapolis Indian fan too, which was a minor league team. But so, make a long story short, I was a huge Indianapolis Colt fan, and there was a guy by the name of Jeff George, wore number 11, and I wanted to be Jeff George so bad when I was a kid. So I picked number. Well, we didn't have it. So my junior year, the football coach said, "Hey, I'm going to get odd numbers this year. What numbers do y'all want?" So we're all like, 3, whatever. I was 11, please. And obviously, like you said, nobody wanted number 11, so I got it. But Jeff George, and then my brother got number 4 for Jim Harbaugh. He was a huge Colt fan too.
I had a Jeff George rookie card.
Dang right you did. Dang right. Jeff George was the man, dude. He had a cannon. All right, let me ask you this question, man. If your players could get one thing from you as a coach, what would it be?
If we're talking traits here, I would like to say that they could have my energy. I believe I bring a lot of energy. I'm loud in my sleep. I'm enthusiastic, like I say. And right along with that, I would like for my players to be able to control what they can control. With baseball being a game of failure, there's 2 things that you can control every morning when you wake up, and that is your attitude and your effort. And you want to have a good day, you can have a good day because that's your choice. That's your attitude. You control your attitude and also your effort. If you're going to be out there playing and it's worth doing it, there's only one way to go, and that's 110%. Give all you got. So.
Dang right. Dang, Evans, that's a pretty good response there, buddy. I feel like right now, Shipp, I want to go out there and play some baseball. Dang right, man. That's a great answer. That is an awesome answer. Let me ask you this question. Is it true that this year an official called you a clown and junior, and that they could not wait for the day that they could throw you out of the game?
That is a fact.
I just want to let you know, before we walked up here, I said, man, I need one more question I can ask Coach Bobbitt. And there sat Coach Casey Hamilton. And he said, I got a question for you, Coach. So that's a Coach Casey Hamilton question.
Yes, and I have gotten a couple of new nicknames from Chammy because of that. Yes, our catcher came over. I don't remember exactly what game it was, but Orrin Abel came over and was grinning from ear to ear. And I was like, dude, what's so funny? He goes, I can't tell you, Coach. I can't tell you. I said, oh, yeah, you're going to tell me. What is it? And he said, the umpire. I said, oh, yeah. He said, yeah, he called you a clown and said he can't wait to throw you out. So, needless to say, my blood started boiling a little bit. But back in the day, I might have made a visit out there. But being 47 now, just kind of brushed it off. But the bad part about it is Coach Hamilton and Coach Taylor and them heard the story, so it didn't die out. It's still going strong today.
Yeah. Coach Hamilton, he'll keep them going too, man. I've never met anyone like him that can get underneath someone's skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can push buttons like no one else's business. He is literally the Yoda of that.
Yes, he is.
But all right. Well, Coach, I want to thank Coach Bobbitt today for spending some time with us on the podcast. Coach Bobbitt, is there anything you'd like to add or any final thoughts you would like to share with our listeners before we conclude?
I'm just very grateful to be here. Like I say, it's a very big deal to me, and I enjoyed it. I think it's an awesome deal.
Dang right. Well, thank you for listening to the Dang Right Podcast with Coach Nally. Thank you to our guest, Coach Bobbitt. And thank you again to Mr. Kramen and his students for putting on this podcast and putting it together. Have a great week, and it's always a great day to be a Cardinal.